Hey guys, now I want to show you a little bit about our marketing numbers for last year. It's been very exciting to learn our numbers this year, and it's really helped us strategize and kind of plan our business and actually know what we're doing. Before you know your numbers, before you know what it costs you to get each customer, you're kind of just guessing. You're trying different marketing. Maybe you're putting out postcards, maybe you're doing radio ads, maybe you're doing online marketing through Facebook or Google or Nextdoor, whatever. But you don't really have an idea of what's working, and you're kind of just spitballing. When you know your numbers, it makes it more of a science, and it's just a matter of saying that, hey, I want to get this amount of customers. I know each customer costs me this much in marketing, and here's what I need to spend to grow to that size that I'm looking to grow to. So 2021, we had a lot better data with our marketing than we did in previous years. We tracked where our leads were coming from, based on what we would ask each customer. How did you hear about us? If you're marketing online, Facebook and Google and things like that, they are great at being able to give you that tracking data within those software. So there's a lot of valuable information there, and I highly recommend you use it. But anyways, I'm going over our two biggest services, our biggest recurring services, mowing and fertilization and weed control. In 2021, at the beginning of the year, we had 67 mowing customers. If you remember right, the years before that, we were running two-man crews with a box truck, and I talked about in our other videos why we were losing money and why we weren't interested in growing that service. So we were pretty much capped at that amount, what we had. We actually had a little bit more than that, but we were kind of capped because we didn't want to grow that. It wasn't making any money. When we changed our setup last year to the Priuses and one-man crews and push mowers, we started to really grow that, and we actually almost doubled it last year. So we began the year with 67 customers. We ended the year with 124. To be able to get that number and get that kind of growth, we brought in 167 leads through our marketing efforts for mowing alone. And when I say lead, I mean a customer or somebody that we actually sent an estimate to, not just somebody calling and inquiring. This is actual leads where we send out estimates. So based on our marketing budget and how much we spent, each one of those estimates we sent out cost us $31. Not on the high side, but not on the low side. I would like to get that down to 20 or 25, and I think we can do it. We're getting better and better at it each year. So we got in 167 leads where we actually sent out estimates. It cost us $31 per lead, and we closed 59% of those last year. So of the 167, about 60% of them actually signed up and said yes. The other key piece of information that you need is your retention rate. Because you're not just, if we started with 100 customers and we added 100 new customers, you would think we'd have 200 customers, but that's not the case, because you're always going to have attrition, lose people through attrition. Either somebody's going to cancel for whatever reason, they're going to move, they're going to pass away, unfortunately. Whatever reason, you're always going to lose customers throughout the year. So you need to know your retention rate. So our retention rate last year for mowing was a little on the low side. It was 82%. I guess 80% or better is a good number. A lot of people say, especially when you start out, when you're solo, you almost never lose a customer. And it's hard to imagine people are losing, 20% of their customers every year. But the thing you got to realize is when you're small and when you're solo, you're catering your service to each customer. You're the owner. You're taking a lot of pride in what you do. Like I said, you're customizing your service for each customer. So if this customer wants the grass 3 inches, you're going to cut it 3 inches. If this one wants it 1 inch, you're cutting it 1 inch. Stuff like that. It's hard to scale up with a business model like that. It's hard to grow and have employees and train and to be able to scale that up, that same kind of thing. So what you see as you grow is you're going to start losing customers because the package that you offer is not going to fit everyone. And that other stuff's just going to happen. I mean, you still lose people as a solo, but your retention rate is much higher. So they say 80% is a good rule of thumb once for most companies as far as the retention rate. For fertilization and weed control, we started the year with 93 customers. We really wanted to grow that, and we ended the year with 190. So you can see we a little bit more than doubled that customer base as well. We brought in 196 leads through our marketing efforts. Each of the cost of those leads was lower for this. It was $23 per customer, or per lead, not per customer. $23 per lead that we actually sent an estimate out to. And of those, we closed 66%. So we closed 2/3 of those estimates. Things about this close rate. Guys, they say a good rule of thumb is you want to be closing between 50 and 75% of your leads for these type services. If you're closing more than 75%, it means you're probably priced too low. And sometimes we think that we're just awesome salespeople, and while you may be, a lot of times people think that they're closing 80, 90, 100% of their estimates. Well, a lot of times it's because you're priced too low. You need to get your prices up. You're not making enough money, and you'll have problems with that in other ways. But anything between, they usually say anything less than 50%, you might be priced too high or something else is wrong. So we're right in that strike range that I want to be in. We're closing about 60% or so of our leads, a little bit more than half. Our retention rate was higher on fertilization weed control. It was 88%. So pretty high on that. The good thing about this is it gives me a lot of data to be able to project out next year. So instead of me just saying, hey, we're going to spend this amount on marketing and I hope we, get this amount of additional revenue, I can put science to it. I can say, hey, if I want to pick up, a certain amount of mowing customers, I'm going to spend, this amount of money, $31 times how many ever leads, and close 59% of them, and that's going to leave me with that amount of customers, and take into account the retention rate. So it's very powerful having this data. Now, this looks a little bit more complicated, but I actually got this from working through a spreadsheet from Mike Andes, and he actually made a video walking you through this spreadsheet and how he uses it to project his marketing. And the only data you need is some of these few numbers that I have right here. But it's you can watch one of his recent videos. I think he just put it out, and it was a portion of his Landscape Business Conference, or the Landscape Summit that he did last year in 2021. You can sign up for Landscape Business Course. I highly recommend it, and you can watch the whole video of that whole conference, and you can also download this sheet. But like I said, you can make your own spreadsheet, and you can kind of watch that video, and he'll walk you through how to do this. But it's very powerful. It's allowed us to very accurately, pretty close approximation of how many customers we're going to be able to get in each service next year. So, for example, I want to focus more on fertilization and weed control, so that's where I want to spend most of my marketing budget. So I can plan that out and map that out and say, hey, I want to spend this amount I want this amount of customers, and I'm going to have to spend this amount of money to do it. Same thing with mowing, and same thing with all of our services. So I hope this was helpful to you. If like I said, check out Mike Andes' video. It's a very recent one, and you'll see him there working through his Excel spreadsheet. It's not as complicated as it sounds. You just need to know your data from last year, how much money you spent on marketing and how many leads. And it doesn't have to be this in depth. If you don't know those numbers, you don't know specifically for each service, just do the best you can. Just do your total marketing spend, and figure that amount, how much you spent total on marketing, how much your retention rate for your customers, how many you lost. You can figure all that stuff out very easily with any CRM or just pencil and paper, but most CRMs will track that stuff. Yardbook makes it very easy. and I'm sure others do as well. But this gives us a lot of helpful data. And like I said, next year going into 2022 going into this year, we know exactly what we need to do to get the kind of growth we need to get, and we know exactly where we can put our money that's going to grow us in the areas that we want to. So I hope you got some value from this. If you have any comments, please leave them below. If you have any questions, if you haven't subscribed already, please do. And like this video, and we really appreciate your support, and we look forward to bringing you a lot of good content this year.